Okay. Okay, let's see questions. And here's the agenda. Okay. Apologize for the delay and we'll call the this meeting of our compensation committee together. And I think the first thing on our agenda is public comment, correct?
Correct.
So is there anyone in attendance who would like to stand up and add some comment? Sir,
I'm Don Vogel,
Don?
and I would like to address a couple of different issues. One, I feel like I represent at least the majority of citizens in Crook County. I can't say that I represent all of them, I certainly don't. I feel that for your selection process, that I would certainly recommend Blaine Nolan. Based on a number of different issues, I felt like the citizens of Crook County spoke last spring at the primary election for the commissioners. And the citizens spoke at that time. The citizens spoke again more recently at the planning commission meeting back in early January. And I feel that in this particular, for this particular position, Blaine Nolan is the best candidate. And I encourage the committee to select him. I don't have anything against Monty. I don't know Monty that well. I had the opportunity to meet with him last spring. My wife and myself met with him for at least an hour and visited. And I learned a lot about him. I don't think he learned a whole lot about my wife and myself and our interests in Crook County. Our interests, along with, I feel, the majority of citizens in this county, is to maintain the custom and culture of this area. And we don't feel like we need to be Deschutes County. We feel that we can continue to be Cook County, but we have to work at it. And I don't understand the motives of Monty for wanting this position. So my recommendation would be to select Blaine Nolan. Thank you.
You sure? Other public comments?
I second him.
And you are,
What?
and you are,
Oh, Gail Stanford?
okay. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, and I don't know. My colleague had noted that she had heard from other citizens as well. In this is, do you have any other comments about that?
No, I think, no, I stated that the last time, yeah.
Can I add one thing, if you don't mind? I think Crook County is doing quite well, personally. I think that there is controversy. Maybe there's always controversy in any type of government organization, but certainly there's people that don't like one another. And I don't think that there should be factors based on that for selecting a committee person. I think that, they should be selected on their merit and their qualifications. And, you know, I think that there's some bad feeling in places in the county. But, you know, you expect that, and, not everybody gets along. It would be nice if our leadership, in the county got along well and would do everything for us that the citizens want, but that's never gonna happen. And that's the reason we have an election process. We can, you know, next election, we can change, you know, our leadership if we so desire. And anyway, I think overall, though, this county is doing quite well. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, if there's no other comment, I don't know if that was open to people on Zoom as well, or, yeah. If there's anybody out there?
But if you're on Zoom and you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand. Not your literal hand, but.
Your emoji
Your
hand.
emoji hand. Okay, well then we'll close public comment and we have a look at the minutes real quickly. So is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll second that. And we're all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and you and I. Okay, so we'll accept the minutes as presented. Okay, so now we'll go to the interview of the applicants. Thank you for putting the questions together. And to keep this pretty even, not give one person I don't know, more time to discuss or be prepared. I think it would make sense to have one of the applicants leave the room while we're talking to the other.
Correct.
But you're okay with that?
Mhm.
And that's allowable?
Yeah, it is a public meeting, so we can't
You
require.
can't force that, but if
but you
the
can
applicants would
ask
be
them.
willing to do that, that would be great, and, so, and as far as who goes first, who'd you like to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
Alphabetical order. How's that?
okay, well, Blaine is first with first name, and, and Monty's first with, yeah. Okay,
Your
well,
choice.
okay, well, let's ask, Mr. Kurtz to come first, and then Blaine, you can stay or you can leave. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Monty.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, yeah, you were here at the last meeting, you're aware of, where we're at with all of this, and so there are a few, prepared questions, for this, so we'll just, step right in with Ron.
Okay, thank you, Monty, for coming today. So the first question, and thank you for preparing these questions. What interest, give us what your interest about serving on the elected official compensation committee, and what do you hope to contribute?
I think I can bring a pretty level-headed viewpoint. I've got a lot of industry background and hiring and firing and compensation reviews throughout my career. I think that there's a lot of data that needs to be looked at. I think it's a data-driven decision. And, you know, I think it's just look at the data, come to a decision with the committee, and, I think I can be a pretty even-keeled, individual on that point.
Okay. And then the second question is, what do you see as the most important factors to consider when determining fair compensation for the elected officials?
I think that, I think that things like how's our budgets doing bears, in that decision. I feel like comparable counties are gonna help weigh in on that decision and the data that goes with it. I believe that, those are really the data that we can receive is really all we can go off of. And, you know, anything outside of that really shouldn't really play a role.
Okay. Number 3, can you share any experience you have working with budgets, financial planning, or compensation decisions?
Yes, as a veteran commercial construction project manager, you know, budgets are pretty much everyday life. Also deciding compensation for employees hired. I've been a part of a couple of different committees within bigger companies to determine mid and senior level compensation packages. Sometimes that, you know, that the whole range of compensation, you know, it's just, it's all part of the equation. And you have to look at what everybody brings to the table as far as like their viewpoints and how that all weighs on those decisions. I've been a part of such a vast difference of places throughout my career that it's always interesting to see what people bring to the table to help decide those factors, and then whether your community is going to tolerate it. Like, you know, in this case, it would be the community. In other cases, it's you can't bring somebody in at the same level when you're hiring somebody at a higher wage and not bring the other equal people up. In this case, it's all three are the same, so it makes that pretty easily.
Okay. And how would you handle potential conflicts of interest or public concerns about the committee's decisions?
If there were conflicts of interest, you've got to bring them up and you've got to just lay them on the table and recuse yourself, or, you know, you have to make that known right away. So I think that somebody who's not is not being in the nature of, you know, any committee, you know, if you have a conflict of interest.
Okay, Bill, do you have any other questions?
Nope, no, I don't. And, again, in terms of, keeping this kind of fair, then we'll ask these exact same questions and no more or less.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, okay, great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Monty.
Thank you, Monty.
If you could stand on one foot.
Right. I do apologize, I'm actually really sick right now, so sinus
sorry.
infection, my ear infection, so I can't hear very well, and so anyhow,
I think the whole county is sick.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
yes. Thank you for
We
having
just
me.
have a few questions to ask you. Thanks for coming, even though you're not feeling very well.
Thank you.
So the first question is, what interests you about serving on the elected official compensation committee, and what do you hope to contribute?
I'm sorry, can you just read that again? I do apologize.
No, you can't hear.
Very under-
What interests you about serving on the elected official on this committee, and what do you hope to contribute?
My interest is just to get more into the inner workings of the city officials and compensations and, just, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm like really not feeling well and I apologize. I essentially, you know, being a business owner and having up to 35 employees at one time, I understand compensations and you know, I love this community and and,
I understand that you don't feel good. and
Yeah,
can
I
see that
have
You
a-
don't feel good.
yeah,
And, I think if it's okay with you, Bill, his resume and his cover letter was very thorough. Unless you want to continue with this, I don't know.
I apologize, I really do, I'm like very, very unhappy.
Yeah,
Very
well, let's look at the questions and, the most important factors to consider when determining fair compensation, I think was in the letter.
Was in the letter, yeah.
Um,
His experience was in the letter,
mhm.
or his resume,
Yeah,
yeah. And then the last one, and you were very thorough with all of that.
thank you.
I guess maybe just the other one is, how would you handle potential conflicts of interest? Or public concerns about the committee's decisions?
It's just to be fair, and I always have been fair. And again, I do understand compensations. Because it can be a delicate process and understanding, wages and, being underpaid and overpaid. So that's something that I definitely look at and have to deal with on a daily basis, so.
Yeah.
But,
No, I think you were very thorough. I think we got enough information off here
okay, I really apologize.
that I understand and I don't want to get sick.
Yeah. I got a respiratory
I see where you're going.
infection and everything.
I know.
It's not.
I know, you see you sick, and so,
Yeah.
so save the rest of us and
Okay.
you were very thorough. It gave me all my information. and
Okay,
really, yeah.
all right. I'm sorry.
All right, thanks.
Get well.
So,
Okay.
thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
Making
coming
this
in.
effort.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Take your germs with you. I just had an infusion yesterday. I don't want to be.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so deliberation and making a recommendation to the board regarding appointment of third member. So how would you, what deliberation might you have?
Well, I think, like I said before, the the information on his resume and his cover letter pretty much covered everything I needed to know on both Monty and Blaine. And we kind of deliberated last week.
Okay, again. This is a process that, and we have, two applicants that. On paper and through the, conversation here. I don't see anything, really outstanding, one or the other, against anyone or for anyone, like that, so that's very even. So then, in my mind, what it comes down to is, the one thing that's different is the public input.
The public opinion, in my eyes, matters a lot. I mean, so,
With that, so that's the only thing that I see that's, different. Other than, as I mentioned last week, Monty's, attention to, meetings and attendance and budgets and all of that stuff, would, it gives him more, I think, insight to that. Okay, so having said that, anything else you want to say at this point?
no, I appreciate the public speaking out because I believe in the voice of the county. And I appreciate everybody showing up today. As well as Mommy, thank you, and Blaine. And I think we just put it to a vote.
Okay. Okay, well, then how about we do that in the form of a motion?
Okay, I motion that we put forward a vote.
Okay, go to the vote and what? How would you go?
I would vote with Blaine.
Okay, and as I said, based on the public input, I would go the same way. So, I guess we'll officially vote on that?
Yeah, can you restate the motion? I missed how the
The
motion was
motion-
phrased.
Motion to vote
So I think the motion needs to be a motion
Into,
to recommend appointing whoever you're gonna recommend. And then it can be seconded, discussed, and then the motion can be voted on. So I'd probably rephrase the motion just for a clear record, so we can capture it in the minutes and it's clear.
is the motion as he stated it? Okay,
Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't think I named anybody, so you might
Okay.
need to just, and I'll start it, so it would be to make a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners the appointment of,
Blaine,
Blaine,
no,
was it Blaine Nolan? Right,
Mhm.
yeah, Blaine Nolan.
to the elected officials compensation committee.
Is that your motion?
I made the motion.
Okay, I'll second that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that is done. And then as far as scheduling the next meeting, is that really what are we able to do that with this?
We could schedule it, but I think what you're getting at is the board still needs to make the appointment to the committee. We could wait for that. We'll try to get that on the agenda for next week, so that we can get that next meeting scheduled and move forward.
Okay, and then our work on that needs to be done relatively quickly.
Well, yeah, for budgeting sake, so we can take those numbers into account.
For the budget, okay.
And we have all the paperwork in, do we have all of it? Are you guys all done with?
I think a significant amount of work has been done. Are you talking about like the comparables and? Yeah, we should be able to provide you that information in advance of that meeting.
Of the next meeting?
The next one, which we will schedule after the board makes its appointment
Okay,
next week, hopefully.
And we've already received some information, the data, the study. Those things, yeah.
I think there was one piece missing. Maybe not.
I don't know.
I'll have to go back
So
through.
they're going to the Board of Commissioners on Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we should try to get it on the agenda. Take the recommendation to the board next Wednesday.
Okay, is there any other business that we need to address? So the scheduling of the meeting will come after
Yeah.
Wednesday and we'll do that and then that'll be made public and go for there. Okay, well, with no other business, then we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you know, keep in consideration when you're scheduling that spring break.
Yeah.
Mm.